Welcome back. So today it was revealed that 16 billion passwords, credentials have been leaked. And this is the biggest data breach ever in history, considered the GOAT of breaches. So I want to talk about this for a little bit. And also I want to talk about what I'm going to be doing to take advantage of this Genius Bill pass, because I think there are a lot of opportunities and I'm going to take advantage of them. So these are two things I'll be talking about in this video. As for the breach, so as far as I gathered, this has been on the dark web for a while. Okay, so a lot of passwords were either it was phished or just brute force hacked or some other thing. Basically, there's like 30 data sets in total, 16 billion credentials, and all of it was left open on some cloud storage for a moment. And actually, the whatever security team actually saw it. That's how they were aware of it. But supposedly, all this was already in the open and being sold on the dark web. But it's just now we're aware of it. 16 billion credentials from the likes of Apple, Facebook, Google, Telegram, you name it. Basically every single cloud service there is. And it's obviously not good, right? And because of it, now that I'm thinking back, I've been getting a lot more phishing emails saying, well, you need to change your password, or you need to do this, or you do that, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys have received these kind of emails, and now that I think about it, it has increased within the last few years, and plus random text messages, right? You get some random text message from people you don't know, and it's telling you you need to click here to go change your password, you need to do this and that, right? So bottom line is, you need to protect yourself, right? When it comes to crypto, especially for those of you guys that have your own wallet, self-custody, it's so important. Because if you get phished and then you get some kind of malware on your computer, and or you get tricked into giving up your credentials to your Coinbase account or some other account, you will be out of luck. Okay, these exchanges that have insurance, they're insured against they being hacked. Okay, they're not insured for you being hacked. So if you give up your credentials in some way, and a hacker goes in your Coinbase account and withdraws, Coinbase is not going to do anything about that. Okay, you basically lost that forever. And for self-custody, it's the same thing. If you have your recovery phrase, let's say stored somewhere on your computer or on a cloud device, and it gets hacked and they get it, you're done, right? So it's super important for you guys to be careful, especially those of you guys in crypto, because there's really no recourse. If your bank gets hacked, right, there's a trail, and usually you can, if you involve authorities, you can get it back in one way or another. But with crypto, you just can't. Even involved in authorities, it's very hard to get it back because most of the hackers are overseas, and you're just never going to see that again. So yeah, this is pretty alarming. So how do you protect yourself, right? First of all, if you do have a recovery phrase from one of your wallets, if you're going to put it anywhere, put it into like a cold device. Like if you go put it on a USB drive, make sure it's unplugged from your computer. You only plug it in when you need it, when you update it, and then remove it. Put it somewhere else, right? Somewhere safe. No one knows about it. It's the same thing with, any credentials, really. If you're going to write it down somewhere or you're going to store it somewhere, keep it offline. That's really it. And put 2FA on everything. And don't put 2FA with your phone number, because with SIM swapping, it's too easy. So if you're going to put 2FA, use like Google Authenticator or Authy, something that is very hard to replicate or hack. They physically need to basically get on your phone to be able to do it. And of course, with your phones, you got to have all the protection, right? The PIN code, face authentication, your biometrics. On top of that, have password for your authenticators. So you're trying to do like a triple authentication, basically, right? Not just 2-factor, 3 or 4-factor authentication. So it's really, really important. And it's also important to make sure you scan your computers. Don't download things that you don't recognize. These days, you know, like Windows and Macs, they're pretty good at stopping bad software from being downloaded. But still, there's always new ones that can. So you got to be careful. And make sure, yeah, you put 2FA on everything. I mean, even Gmails now, you could put 2FA. Any kind of login, you know, any kind of financial system, PayPal, you could put in 2FA. Most banks, you know, they do some kind of bank logins have 2FA, like everything basically. And Coinbase, obviously any exchanges, Coinbase, Gemini, Kraken, Crypto.com, any foreign exchange like BitUnix, you know, they pretty much, it's almost mandatory you have to turn on 2FA. Sometimes they just like recommend it, but they don't force it, but you should always do it, right? And you should do multiple authentications, like a trading password, a withdrawal password. Again, 2FA like Google Authenticator or Authy. Just turn on everything. You could have email authentication with phishing, like a phishing code or something, or non-phishing code, I should say. Yeah, make sure you just protect yourself. Otherwise, you lose your crypto, you're done. You're not going to get it back, and you're going. And I have had people tell me that. This is not something that you just like hear about like once in a while. No, it happens all the time. So make sure you safeguard yourself, right? So that's one of the big news of today. Another big one, a small one, is just, you know, X, supposedly X is going to allow trading soon. The CEO came out, not Musk, the CEO came out and said, we're going to allow trading. I don't know what that means. Crypto trading, stock trading, both, right? It's been rumored because X got money transmission license for many states. I don't know if all of them. And of course, they're going to do something with payments. But it seems like they're going beyond that and doing trading. So that's kind of interesting. If that opens up crypto trading on X, which I think everyone wants to see, and it's been rumored because of Elon's support of Doge for so long, that would be a huge catalyst. That would be really, really, really good, right? So that was also that also came out today. And then lastly, I just want to talk about, because today, holiday, U.S. markets closed, but I do want to talk about a little bit how I plan on taking advantage of this Genius Bill pass, right? Obviously in the crypto space, we haven't seen a lot of big moves after the Genius Bill passed, but I think that's going to change. I do think that's going to change. One that I missed, well, before I get to the one I missed, but the two that have benefited have no crypto. They don't have stocks, right? And that has been Circle. Circle, even before the bill passing, it's since the IPO, it was at $30, and it's just been doing this, skyrocketing. I've been waiting, right? And it's almost at 200. It went up 33% yesterday. And I think it's going to continue because if you look at the market cap, it's still relatively low compared to, say, someone like Coinbase or others. You know, I'm waiting for that breather, but I think it's going to keep on going. So I think Circle is going to benefit tremendously. I was looking at USDC issuance, and there's articles about how USDC has caught up with Tether in major ways in 2025. 2024, you know, Tether was dominating, and it still is at 155 billion market cap, but USDC is now up over 60. So it's about half, a little bit less than half of USDT, and it's growing, and it's based in the US. So if you think about it, like MiCA rules in Europe basically disallow Tether from operating. That's huge for USDC. And with the new Genius Bill, even though I think it's going to allow companies, foreign companies like Tether to operate stablecoins, I think the American-based projects will probably get more leniency and make it and be easier to operate. So I think Circle, and I think a lot of people see that, Circle is in a really good situation. So I know mostly I just concentrate on crypto investments. A lot of people always ask me, do you only have crypto? And yes, I'm like 99% in crypto. But I do think I'm going to put some money in Circle because, and you know, there's no, putting money into USDC, you're not going to benefit from that. But I do think Circle stock, I'm going to be loading up on Circle stock. So that's one thing, one of the things I'm going to be doing. Another thing is Coinbase. Coinbase started going up like crazy. Coinbase up and down, up and down. You know, it IPO'd at 400. It went down to like 100 something. Now it's back up to like 250 or something. It was up 16%. And the reason why Coinbase went up is because they have a 4% stake, 3.5% stake in Circle. So they're part, like a very small owner, and they have huge amount. Somehow it's negotiated. They get 50% of the interest dividends or interest payments of USDC, whether it's from staking or issuance or whatever, but they get 50% of that. So Coinbase is going to be a huge beneficiary of Circle's success. That's why Wall Street finally made the connection yesterday, because Coinbase has been pretty rocky up and down. It hasn't really caught on any momentum. Yesterday was one of the biggest days, and I think Wall Street finally put it together like, okay, if Circle is doing so well, who's going to benefit? Coinbase is, right? So I'm not so sure I'm going to pick up on Coinbase because I'm already in Robinhood, which I think Robinhood would also benefit. Robinhood completed its acquisition, $200 million acquisition of Bitstamp. That's going to boost their crypto holdings or offerings a lot. And they offer stocks, which Coinbase doesn't yet. So my opinion, I still like Robinhood as a brokerage or exchange over Coinbase because it has dual offerings. However, Coinbase's stake in Circle cannot be understated. So I think it could be pretty big. So I'm not sure I'm going to load up on Coinbase. I'm going to continue to hold Robinhood because I think it's still, there's still room there. But, you know, I'm going to keep my eyes on Coinbase, right? Now, how this relates to crypto, again, I've been looking at which projects can benefit from the Genius Bill, like that are directly related to stables. And, you know, there's a few of them. And, you know, they haven't really moved yet. That's the thing. So I'm wondering if it's just a lagging thing. I'm wondering if people are just like not putting the dots together. I mean, Ripple is a big candidate. Ripple has their real USD. Even Cardano's trying to integrate it. And, you know, they have a lot of lobbyists. They have political ties. Now, their lawsuit is pretty much over. And they have a huge war chest. In fact, they try to buy Circle. Right? They have billions in their war chest. So I'm quite surprised Ripple actually haven't moved yet. But that may change. I don't know, because if you think about it, buying XRP is not the same as saying buying Circle stock, because XRP is its own token. It doesn't give you ownership into Ripple, and Ripple is going to do an IPO. That may be the reason. They said they're not going to do this year, next year. Maybe a lot of institutions are waiting for Ripple to do that, to get real ownership in a company. So maybe that. Or, you know, people are waiting for the XRP ETF. So I think, and that might be coming soon. So I think later on, there may be a chance that investors start doing what I'm doing right now and looking at, okay, what other companies can I benefit, that can benefit from the Genius Bill passing, that are directly related to stablecoins or indirectly, you know, and they're going to start speculating and loading up. And I think Ripple is one of them. Another one that I missed, and it's a project that I haven't been too fond of, but I'll admit it, but Aerodrome. Aerodrome is up like 45% this week. Why is that? Is it because they're involved with stablecoins? No, it's because I missed this last week. They said that they were going to get listed, the Aerodrome DEX was going to get listed in the main Coinbase app, so people could trade directly within the DEX from the Coinbase app. That is huge. That's absolutely huge. And the reason why Coinbase is allowing it, because it's an incubated, it's an incubated project by Coinbase. That's why they're allowing it. But because of it, it's one of the best movers of this week. And, you know, it'll benefit too, because a lot of the projects that you buy, you know, a lot of the trading is going to be based on USDT. Base itself doesn't have a token, so most things are ETH, but still a lot of trading is done with USDC. I said USDT, but USDT and USDC. So that, I think, you know, that's a clear example of why, you know, sometimes we got to do a little thinking, do a little research, and think about what speculators will speculate on next. But I'm gonna look into them. I mean, there's obvious things that relate. There's other DEXs also. There's certain ones that deal only with stables, like Curve, for example. Curve is a DEX known for stable trading. You know, and then there's a lot of DeFi projects. There are a ton of projects, actually, if you think about it. They're either related directly or indirectly to stables. I mean, there's issuers too. Paxos is an issuer, but I don't think they're based in the US. There's another one, I think, called TrueUSD. There's a few of them, but you know, in terms of outside of Circle, I think Ripple is the only other American-based issuer. So again, I'm surprised by Ripple why it hasn't moved yet, but that could change. And you know, as for others, I'm going to start digging more, and I'm going to be sharing more going forward. I mean, right now I'm looking at them. I see a lot, but they just haven't been moving. They really haven't. So I don't know if I'm on the right track or not, but I think I am. So I'm going to start doing more research into like ones that tie in with Coinbase, possibly tie in with the base chain, tie in with USDC and stables, and I'm going to be, yeah, doing more research into them and calling them out for you guys, right? So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. So I guess it'll be interesting tomorrow to see how the market opens tomorrow. It could be red, but I think it could be green because of the fact that you know, we had the FOMC meeting and it wasn't too bad. You know, stable Genius Bill thing is still hot. So I think tomorrow we could still see continuance of crypto projects going upwards. Now, some of you guys may be wondering, why is MicroStrategy not going up? MSTR was the only crypto company that didn't go up yesterday. And I think that's just because of Saylor. Saylor, there are a lot of shorters now at this point. They don't believe or they don't like what Saylor is doing. But there's also the Saylor effect. I think he's just issuing too much stock because he can. He's raising a whole bunch of money. How do you think he's getting his billions to buy Bitcoin? We Bitcoiners love it. We love to see him buy more Bitcoin, right? But where's he getting the money from? He has to issue more preferred stock like Stride or sell more MicroStrategy stock. And that's how he's raising. And by doing that, he's diluting the supply, and I think that's why it's not going up. MicroStrategy stock has not been above 400 for a very long time. Everything else has gone up except MicroStrategy. So me personally, I don't hold any MicroStrategy stock anymore because of that. I realize that we're just in this cycle where I don't think it's going to go up much. Despite Bitcoin going higher and making a new high, MicroStrategy stock still didn't. So yeah. Anyways, you know, I might also going forward just talk more about stocks in general. Not everything, but just stocks that relate to crypto, right? And I think a lot of you guys watching are stock investors as well. You have a 401k or you have a brokerage account and you've been trading, you know, you might be into ETFs and all that. I don't believe in the ETFs as much as Bitcoin. I think if you're going to buy a Bitcoin ETF, you might as well buy a Bitcoin. But these other companies, I think there's potential there. There's potential there. Let's not forget like GameStop too. GameStop is buying a whole bunch of Bitcoin, or will be. They're raising a whole bunch of money to buy Bitcoin. And I don't think people have looked into that yet. That could be another potential play. And GameStop could be doing other things too. Well, what if they announce they're going into stables for somehow? That would be huge, right? So anyways, that's it for this video. Hopefully this was helpful. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. And by the way, I told you guys, I have my free Discord out. No obligations. If you guys want to chat about and speculate about what I'm talking about now, or about anything in general, make sure you join that Discord chat. I mean, we got a lot of members, you know, people coming in and out 24/7. So if you want to converse more, you want to learn more from me or my team or anyone else in the community, make sure you join that Discord. So it's on cryptosaurus.com/learn. You'll see that. And I'll put in the link of this video as well. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.